Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and my ordeal is over. Because right here I have, from the Transformers Age of the Primes, the Walmart exclusive Cybertron capsule line Sideways. This deluxe class figure. As I said, it's a Walmart exclusive. Now, if you remember, about a week or so ago, 2 weeks, we took a look at Excellion. Sideways and Excellion were supposed to release at the same time together. And they were going to be the first in a Walmart capsule line celebrating the 20th anniversary of Transformers Cybertron. Well, apparently that capsule line has been canceled. Walmart apparently has lost interest in it. But these figures were done and ready to go. They were already released in overseas markets, so they were still going to be released. And as I mentioned with Excellion, my pre-order was canceled, and it turns out pretty much everybody's pre-orders for the figures were canceled. Only for Excellion to very quickly pop up in stock ready to ship, hence how I got it. And I would say a few days later, Sideways, the same thing. And whereas Excellion has always been in stock for the most part, Sideways has been popping in and out of stock. Well, my initial order of Sideways was unfortunately lost. What was supposed to be a few days was actually ended up being over a week, and it's gone. But Sideways popped up again, and I was able to order it. And instead of taking over a week, it just took a couple days, shipped by USPS, not on track, which was a terrible service, and I got it today. And I have to say, and by the way, the same day that I reviewing this figure, which I think is like August 4th, first sightings of Excellion and Sideways in stock at a Walmart. So they are showing up in brick and mortar. Basically, what I'm telling you is, don't fret if you haven't been able to get a Sideways yet, since that tends to be the more desirable of the two. I think there will be plenty of stock in store and possibly even online. Just be vigilant and keep an eye out. For those of you not familiar, Sideways was a character from Cybertron, duh, but it was also basically a continuation of the character from Armada, who was this double agent type of thing. In Cybertron, the Herald of Unicron was kind of played down since, well, Unicron wasn't in the show, but you still had like the faction changing gimmick, this time actuated by the Cyber Planet key. This is a great update. From what I can remember, when I've heard from other people who've like constantly handled this figure over the years, this is a very close, almost exact update. Pretty much the same transformation, just some bits changed, allowing for modern design sensibilities and articulation. Obviously, the play gimmick with the cyber key has been removed, but you can change the faction symbols. I'll show you that in a second. I would say this is a very relatively clean flying vehicle, and that if you really didn't know what you were looking at, you wouldn't be able to tell that these were legs and feet and what have you. So, and this is actually what the basic retail release looked like. I know there was in Japan, the character was called Noise Maze, and there was actually a Noise Maze production type, which was released with one of the DVD sets, and that goes for a pretty penny now. And the original toy was reused for a Bakon set of sweeps, because if you really, even if you, especially if you take the wings off, but you can even leave them on, does give you a sweep vibe. So this was Scourge in the sweeps. Remember, this was, back at a time really where modern, the idea of modern updates to the original character designs was really unheard of. So for many people, those were their sweeps, Scourge and their sweeps. But to start things off, what you want to do is to pop off the cannon here. Now, first, let me just quickly show you that this is the weapon. This is the Cyber Planet key. It's a Decepticon logo, very small. Does plug in, but there's no gimmick or anything. There is a switch here on the back that will change the faction. So right now we have Decepticon. Flipping it up goes to Autobot. Flipping it back down goes to Decepticon. Unlike Armada in the Cybertron show, Sideways really kind of just seemed like always to be a bad guy. And also, unlike the original toy, the spring out gimmick, as I said, is removed. So if you want to activate the blades here, or really what I would consider like the prongs of the energy bow, if this is even that, you'd have to do manually, like so. So we can do that. Now, I have heard a lot of people complain, or not even complain, but question about being able to peg it in, because if it's supposed to sit on these two pegs and this one combined peg that's basically on the robot mode forearms. And a lot of people ask about like the hand placement and stuff like that. All I can tell you is the hands are designed to be facing up like this. I don't think there would be, if they were rotated the other way, I don't know if, well, let me try, if there would be the clearance that you would need to yeah, it's kind of pressing back on the edge of the frame there. So I think they do need to be facing up to have that clearance. But yeah, just have them facing up, and when you're attaching the weapon, and you know what, I've never tried attaching it with the blades out. Yeah, no, you can't do it with the blades out, but just press from underneath here to hold the arms in place, and it attaches. I mean, I haven't had a problem or anything like that. So there's, you know, that first step there to the transformation. The next step is you need to remove the wing blades. Now, I do remember on the original toy, you could leave them attached and that to the legs, and that they would transform and they would just swing, be able to rotate into place. I think because of the differences in the transformation, that's changed. I can also be wrong, but we'll get to more of those in robot mode. So basically, this is unfortunately one of those figures that if you lose the accessories, this is what you end up with. So take that for what you will. But the first step is we're going to come along the side here, and you're going to untab the foot from the side of the canopy, and you want to rotate it out. Just enough to get the what will be the heel, the clearance there. Next, what you want to do is lift up the leg, and there's a little bit of a J or L-shaped tab that goes into a slot under that back section. And when you're going into vehicle mode, you want to make sure you press that down. It does angle a little. You do get a little bit of an angle there, give it a little bit of a swooping, but it should go in fairly easily. So you're going to untab that. Do that on both sides. And then fold the legs at the knee all the way out. And then there's a soft detent as it frictions into place. And then you can rotate the leg forward and bring it down. The instructions show this as like multiple steps, but it's easier if you just do it in one like that, you know, and do each one separately. Then what you can do is fold the foot forward and bring out the heel. The foot will come forward, leaving the heel, but the heel has to go out flat. And this does give you a very nice base to stand on. Next, what you want to do is you're going to untab this section here where my fingers are. It's like little grills of speakers, and that's going to flip all the way up and forward. This actually is a little interesting part to the transformation, but we're going to hold that there for now as we come in, and we're going to fold out the arms. And they tab together, so you're untabbing them and then folding them out on that orange hinge piece right there. Now, to basically rotate, you want to rotate the arm around so that the port right here is facing to the outside, and then rotate the fist up. When going to vehicle mode, you want to rotate it around at the bicep so that these two tabs are facing up towards you. So just do it that way, do it again this way, do it that way. There you go, there you go. And now we're going to swing everything around, and what we're going to do is fold that black section back up. At the same time, you want to come down and fold down that central orange chest piece. The instructions get a little confusing when explaining how to do that, because at first you don't realize that black section can come down, and that'll just friction up like that, bring the arms down like so, and then flip down these black back sections. They just, hinge down like that. So finally what's left is to reveal the head. You want to open up this central section here. The horns of the head have been poking out the entire time. Bring it up on the platform, bring it up straight up like that, rotate it around, and then rotate the platform back down, that it will soft friction into the torso right there. Close up the chest, and here you have Sideways in its robot mode. Now, what you can do in terms of display options, the wings will come in now and peg onto the side, just like on the original toy. And you can now attach the cannon arm here just by flipping out that peg. Orange peg, a lot of orange here. And let me tell you, there's a lot of nice articulation. I kind of also remember that the legs would peg together here, forming the crotch area. But you do have that universal joint at the shoulder, bicep swivel, hinged elbow, 90 degrees, wrist swivel as well. That's great for when we do the combined sword. Really, a lot of movement here that you can just swing around, get that arm cannon really doesn't get in the way. I don't see a place to store it in robot mode, but it's really more like a shield. I want to say it was originally permanently attached to this arm, and there's also like an extending gimmick that you could use it in vehicle mode. That's not here. You have the universal hips right there. Now you do have a thigh swivel. The knee, there's a little bit of a detent there to give it a little bend, and then if you just untab it, you do have that full deep knee bend. I actually like using the detent and then working the ankle pivot, giving us a little bit of a like a battle ready stance, but a little more of a relaxed stance. The head is on a ball joint, so there is a little bit of a waggle there. Now, of course, as I mentioned, you can combine the swords. It's a double bladed sword thingamabobbin. Make sure you pegs in with the tips facing forward, and there you have Sideways ready to rock. And like I said, this is a fun figure. I'm actually quite happy with it. I haven't any of the early issues people said they were having. I haven't experienced yet, which is kind of cool, which I'm glad about. Like I said, the blaster here pegs nicely into the back. I don't have a problem with it. All the joints are tight. And this is a nice update to that classic figure. Obviously, I am very disappointed that we're not getting more from Cybertron, as that was really my full return to the hobby. And it would be nice to have been able to revisit some of the characters. I know we were finally going to get a Cybertron Skywarp that was just like the repaint of that Starscream. And I know a lot of people were looking forward to that, which I am disappointed that it's not coming. Maybe it'll get out another way. Who knows? But as I said, Walmart exclusive. Should be on the lookout for it online and in stores. Try not to pay the Walmart upcharging that they're known to, not the Walmart upcharging, but the eBay upcharging, since it is getting out that a lot of people aren't able to find it. So, yeah, it's really about all I can say. This is a really fun figure, and I hope you enjoy it. But that's it for the review. If you like the review, like, comment, and subscribe. Well, I appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions. Help communicate to YouTube through the algorithm that my channel should be exalted and held upon a high. I also have a Patreon. You know the spiel there. $1 a month, $12 a year. If you can't swing it, don't worry about it. Your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae. It really does help bring figures like this to you that are these store exclusives that I can't use gift cards and stuff on, or Amazon gift cards on. But yeah, that's about it. Once again, for Cybertron Sideways, this is your old pal Chuck, and I will see you next time.